Welcome back to the channel. In this video we'll be talking about Ubisoft's change of plans to how they release games, or sort of games they'll be making. And it's quite obvious that everyone wants that yacht life where they've got these private yachts so they can go out and just do whatever they want to do. And it does look as though Ubisoft are going to be focusing on them games that are going to get them that microtransaction yacht money. Similar to how PUBG Mobile makes like 7 million a day or something crazy like that, and Valorant charged $300 for a gun skin. So there's an article here, and I'll leave it linked in the description. This is from Video Games Chronicle, or VGC. I've been trying to look at the Games Radar one for a few hours now, but their site's down completely. So it says here, Ubisoft says it's changing strategy to focus on more high-end free-to-play games. Assassin's Creed firm says it will no longer rely on 3 to 4 AAA games each year. So Ubisoft is shifting away from its traditional strategy of releasing 3 to 4 premium AAA titles each year, but plans to launch high-end free-to-play games for all its biggest franchises. So Watch Dogs, Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, The Division, like Rainbow Six, all those sorts of titles are probably going to at some point have free-to-play games. I mean, we've already got The Division Heartland coming up, and it says the company provided an update on its game development strategy during its full-year earnings call on Tuesday, when it said it intends to be less reliant on AAA releases as part of its overall product mix. So the original story continues, it's indeed no longer a proper indication of our value creation dynamics. For example, our expectation for Just Dance and Riders Republic are consistent with some of the industry's AAA performers. So they will still be working on AAA titles, they just won't be relying on them, there'll be more free-to-play games. So I mean, it could come as a positive, there could be a huge bonus or benefit for gamers from this, because they'll get to play the games and they won't have to pay. The microtransactions are there as an optional sort of bonus in the game. Additionally, we are building high-end free-to-play games to be trending towards AAA ambitions over the long term. This is purely a financial communication evolution and doesn't change the fact that we continue to expect a high cadence of content delivery, including powerful premium and free-to-play new releases. I mean, on the other end of the spectrum, you've got bloody EA out there now. Battlefield 6 is going to lean more into the live service side of things. And then they posted on Twitter, one of the senior analysts claimed the company's comments were in reference to free-to-play becoming a larger share of the revenue pie. So these free-to-play games will be filled with microtransactions. I'm just really hoping that there's no pay-to-win stupid stuff in there. We've already seen these time savers come into Valhalla, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, and other games like that. And you have a lot of skins that cost, I don't know, like £12 upwards for some games and stuff. Like if you look at Avengers, they've got the £12 legendary skins. You look at Valorant, there's a gun that you pay like £300 for to unlock its full skin sort of thing. And then you go to Call of Duty and you've got like 300 plus different bundles that you can pay up to like £25 per bundle for. But this is not an indication that there will be less traditional paid games like Assassin's Creed. So basically they just want to expand and make some of the big franchises into free-to-play games as well. So there could be like spin-offs and stuff that they do. They wrote, the content mix is expanding, not changing. A good comp is the evolution of COD since Warzone. I mostly wanted to steer the convo away from free-to-play games or replacing AAA paid games to free-to-play is going to be an additional way to experience some of these IPs. Which I think, as long as it's done properly, it's a very, very good thing. So last week they announced plans to expand The Division with the new free-to-play and the mobile game that they've got coming up. Red Storm are going to be leading The Division Heartland. So Massive Entertainment aren't really involved with that at all as far as I'm aware. And it's described as a standalone experience that's set for release on PlayStation, Xbox and PC. And I believe they've just started releasing the invites for the playtest. And they said, in terms of Heartland, the way we think about building the audience reach growth for our biggest franchises, so starting with The Division, is to come with high quality free-to-play games. We recognise this is the first year we're coming meaningfully into this space. I really don't like that word, especially after Division 2's meaningful loot changes, or meaningful content. They continue to say that's why we need to take reasonable assumptions for year one on the top line as well as the contribution. But of course we want to make sure this is a strong contributor in the long term to the expansion of the overall brand on console and PC, and then of course will come mobile at a later time. We think that we have a great opportunity to meaningfully expand the audiences of our biggest franchises. We've taken the time to learn from what we did last year with Hyperscape. I mean, Hyperscape was a flop, wasn't it? But they've also said we are also learning, of course, with the launch we'll be making a Roller Champions, which I don't think is going to be a big game. And we've been learning a lot with Brawlhalla, which is fast growing. And we think it's now the time to come with high quality free-to-play games across all our biggest franchises. They said all of them, across all platforms. But of course it'll take time before proving it in a more assertive way. That's why we want to be cautious in year one. If we are successful, that can have a very meaningful impact on the value creation of Ubisoft. So in order for them to just carry on the way they are, and also expand and do these free-to-play games, in order for the company to expand as a whole, they need this stuff to be successful. That entirely depends on how it's designed. Adding microtransactions into a game, not a problem at all. I don't mind if there's a really cool looking skin. Every now and then I might decide to spend £4 on it or something like that. I'm not going to go out and buy a Path of Exile £300 founder kit bloody thing with a couple of pets and all this sort of stuff. And if they make a free-to-play, like say for example The Division Heartland, if they release that and is PvP focused, there's pay-to-win features in there, I'm out. I'm not going to buy into that stuff. If they try doing what EA tried years ago where they charge people for ammo, or if they try doing a thing the Culling did where they try charging per match you play, then count me out. I'll still obviously play the stuff and cover it to guide you guys away from it. But I mean, count me out of actually purchasing into that stuff. I want to be able to either load up a free-to-play game, have microtransactions there completely optional that don't benefit me in any sort of way, or I want to load up a game that I've paid for and just enjoy the experience. Have this content to play and all that sort of stuff and just have fun with it. They said, we think it's now the time to come with high quality free-to-play games across all our biggest franchises. There's an image here that says Far Cry 6 will be released by September 30th, 2021. And I also heard that Rainbow Six Quarantine, or whatever that game's called now, will be exactly the same. So there's two big titles coming out before September, but at the same time, Skull and Bones has just recently been delayed until at least next year. It does actually carry on to say here, I was just reading that from like other articles and stuff I've seen. The publisher said on Tuesday that the current fiscal year ending March 31st, 2022 would include the releases of Far Cry 6 and Rainbow Six Quarantine by September 30th, plus Riders Republic, The Division Heartland and Roller Champions. And it confirmed during its earnings call that it has no AAA games scheduled for release during the second half of the fiscal year, which includes the Christmas season. Open world pirate game Skull and Bones was planned for release during the current fiscal year, but Ubisoft said it had been delayed yet again. They did say with one of their delays that it's due to a refocus. They had to refocus it, so I'm hoping it doesn't turn into a live service game where there's a lot of microtransactions and stuff, because I can't wait for Skull and Bones. That's been on my radar for a long time. I love the idea of pirates and ships and cannonballs and all that sort of stuff. Absolutely love it. The only reason I don't play Sea of Thieves is because I feel once you've done some of the content in that game, you've done it all. So, Skull and Bones delayed. Rainbow Six Quarantine and Far Cry 6 due to release before September 30th. So that's literally within the next 4.5 months. And then Riders Republic, The Division Heartland and Roller Champions as well. So there's a lot of titles. I can't wait till next month to see E3 and find out more about all this sort of stuff that's going on, because Ubisoft have their own Forward event, which I believe is June 12th. They've also said that the Assassin's Creed franchise recorded its strongest sales year to date in the company's last fiscal year. What we see with Assassin's Creed is that we have a fantastic recipe, and that's why we decided to expand the Valhalla post-launch program to make it the biggest, longest, strongest that we've ever had on the franchise. The thing is, I saw someone complaining about some content creators getting early access to the Wrath of the Druids DLC. I don't have a problem with that. I'm a content creator myself, as part of promotion, as part of the business. That's what happens. My issue is, those content creators would have put out their videos and create their content basically for that DLC. When the DLC dropped for the people that had paid money for the game, it wasn't working properly. People didn't have a clue how to play it. With their pre-order bonus content, that wasn't an easy thing to get your hands on. A lot of people had issues with it. They did manage to, within a couple of hours, fix it and people were able to play the DLC. But my point is, people had paid money for that stuff and there were issues. Yet there were content creators that had no problems with it at all. Basically, we have The Division Heartland, we've got Rainbow Six Quarantine, we've got Far Cry 6. There's some other games and stuff I believe they will be working on. Although around the Christmas sort of period, there won't be anything that is scheduled to come out from Ubisoft. And they want to try and focus not necessarily entirely on like free-to-play games, but they want to add that in and expand the company. I think that is really good. But me as a content creator, and I'm part of Ubisoft Press as well, so some of these games I can apply to get early access to and all that sort of stuff, like I did with Valhalla and Watch Dogs Legion. But some of you from the channel will know that I've made rants on Watch Dogs Legion, especially with online, because they released it after all this stuff with the Ubisoft Connect instead of Uplay. They released it and it had a lot of issues. There was a lot of like dashboarding and crashing and all that sort of stuff. You couldn't even set the missions to private. You had to do them in a public lobby. They have done lots of updates. They will be adding the cross-gen. Cross-gen was a massive issue for me because I play on the Series X. My friends are on the Xbox One. So we weren't able to play together. I had to actually like plug in my Xbox One and load that up and sit there and install Watch Dogs Legion. 2 hours 45 minutes it took me from the moment I started my live stream until I was in Watch Dogs Legion online with my friends because of having to plug in my old console. So I'm not, like, even if I was doing a paid sponsorship, whatever, I am not going to sugarcoat anything I do on this channel. I will tell you exactly how I feel, my opinions. And so far, with The Division Heartland, I'm not so sure on the mobile game. I'll have to wait and possibly download it and try it. But at least with The Division Heartland, it's going to be a release that comes to consoles and stuff. Once they are ready to release that game around the end of this year, early on in 2022, I will be playing the game. It's made by Redstorm, so Massive Entertainment, they don't have their hands on it. They can't do all the dodgy stuff they did to The Division 2 with that game. However, I do feel it's going to be more PvP focused because that's what Redstorm do within the franchise. However, it might not be. They might have decided to go the PvE route. We will have to see with that. As I said, possibility that invites are going out for the playtest and stuff. And I mean, like, people getting into it, the playtest invites are going out. But with them wanting to release more free-to-play games, I'm totally open to it. Microtransactions are optional as long as you don't have the really greedy, disgusting, scammy ones like the culling where they were charging per match. That sort of stuff is not welcomed, in my opinion. I just feel with some of the biggest franchises, they've said all of them, but I mean, with like a free-to-play Far Cry, as long as it's co-op, I'm hoping with these free-to-play ones, they have all these sorts of features they have in their premium AAA titles. Obviously, it's going to be heavily focused on microtransactions, because once you create a game, you make it free-to-play, you've got to make your money somehow. And especially with games costing millions and millions to make, they need to make their money back. So, my only hope is they do a good job with these games. They actually make games that people want to play that don't have all these pay-to-win features a part of them. And then it's a win-win for everyone. Ubisoft have a successful year. They make money from the people that are willing to buy the microtransactions. There's no pay-to-win, so it doesn't affect anyone else's experience. And it's not too sort of in your face and popping up after every bloody match you have, like World of Warships Legends, where it just pops up. Oh, we think you're a great captain, you deserve this, here's £5 off our £30 bundle. As long as that stuff's not thrown in your face, no pay to win, all that sort of stuff, I think you guys get the picture of what I'm saying. I'm definitely welcoming these free-to-play games and their other AAA games into my radar sort of thing. I'll be looking at them all, probably play them, have a little look, and hopefully they're not filled with bugs and stuff as well. And apologies, you probably hear my kids in the background, a little bit hectic today, but on that note, we're going to leave the video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed it.